Lev Nikolaevich Gumilyov Eurasian National University, an acknowledged academic, research, social and cultural center, was founded in 1996 by the decree of Nursultan Abishevich Nazarbayev, the first president of the Republic of Kazakhstan. The core reason for establishing this higher education institution was the idea of Eurasian Union. Today, ENU is a university with a special status, high international authority. It is an implementer of academic innovative technologies and follower of the best research traditions. Lev Gumilyov Eurasian National University was established by combining two existing universities, Tselenograd Civil Engineering Institute and Saken Seifullin Tselenograd Pedagogical Institute.
In 1962, the first pedagogical institute was opened in Tselenograd. Soon it was named after a prominent Kazakhstani writer and public figure, Saken Seifullin. 10 years later, his monument of grey granite was founded on a small square between two buildings, which today stands in front of the main building of the Kazakh Agro-Technical University, which owes the name of Saken Seifullin.
The name of Saken Seifullin is closely associated with Akmolinsk, where he studied, had an active position in social and political life, was arrested, participated in the establishment of Soviet power, started a family.
Saken Seifullin was born on October 15, 1894, in one of the nomadic villages in Zhenarka region of Karaganda Oblast. His real name is Sedvakars. However, his family called him Saken in gentle manners. He was born in a poor family. According to Saken's words, his father was a tambra player and his mother was a skilled narrator, expert in oral folk art. Saken began to take lessons on reading and writing from old mullah. The Russian Kazakh school in the Nildi parish became a first school for young Sedvakars. Then he continued his education at a city school in Akmolinsk. In Omsk, Saken entered the teacher's seminary. There, he met Russian revolutionaries and warmly supported their ideas and endeavors. At the age of 20, Saken Seifullin became the co-leader of the first Omsk youth organization called Провели, which was engaged in cultural and educational activities among his compatriots.
Saken Seifullin returned to Akmolinsk in 1917 and immediately united intellectuals around him, working in the initiative group of Bolsheviks. The same year, Seifullin created a social and political organization called Zhaz Kazakh. At the same time, he managed Tershalik newspaper for the Bolshevik group and participated in its release. At the end of 1917, the country had been already under Soviet rule, when Saken Seifullin was elected as a member of the House of Representatives and appointed as a head of the People's Leader of Education.
While the revolutionary writer was fighting for Soviet power, he never parted with writing activity. In 1917, he wrote the play On the Way to Happiness. When in June 4, 1918, the White Guard conducted the revolution, Seifullin was arrested and sent to Petropavlovsk jail. He was put in a death carriage of Ataman Mikhail Annenkov, where he spent 47 days. He broke out of Kolchak prison and reached his village by July. After 2 months, he was forced to flee for Taraz. After the Red Army had freed Shimia from the White Army, Saken returned to Akmolinsk and was appointed a deputy chairman and head of the administration department of the Akmala Executive Committee, which was a member of the Revolutionary Committee.
Saken made a great contribution to the education of Kazakh youth. In 1920, an agricultural school, 2 technical schools, and school of the first and second levels, School workshops were opened with his close assistance and participation in country. A number of performances and concerts were organized, as well as the Central District Library and Workers' and Peasants' Club opened its doors.
Saken lived in the era full of changes, in the era of Mahatma Gandhi and the liberation of the East from shackles of slavery. He was one of the founders of the Soviet government, Soviet literature, while always remaining faithful to his ideas and his people. Saken's vivid artistic images are clearly traced in his first poems, which in the poet's further works were improved, merging with deep thoughts. Vivid examples of these are his lyrical works Kokshitau, Separated Swans, songs of the Ger Falcon Lashan, To My Dark Red Horse, Swan Song, and others. The power of Saken's verse cannot be enclosed only within the framework of assessments made through the prism of ideological views during the years of the Soviet regime.
The merits of Saken should include his fruitful work on returning the territory of Semipalatinsk and Akmola provinces to Kazakhstan, which were under the jurisdiction of the Siberian territory. Thanks to Saken Seifullin and his clear convictions and evidence, the original Kazakh lands of Central, Northeast, and East Kazakhstan were returned to the young Soviet Kazakh Republic.
Saken Seifullin was inspired by Ahmed Baitursinov, Alikhan Butikhanov, Mirzakov Dulatov, and considered them to be his first teachers. Later, in August 1920, Seifullin wrote an article about Kazakh intellectuals, which was published in Akmolin's newspaper Krasny Vestnik and in the magazine Life of Nationalities, and that later became one of the reasons of his death. This article clearly shows style and handwriting Saken's, which later became the reason for the prosecution. For many years, Saken was suspected of having links with Alashvada and the so-called Baitursinovshina.
But before that, while still being the chairman of the Council of People's Commissars of the KSSR with an acute shortage of personnel and money, Saken resolved the personal problem by attracting the old intellectuals and financial issues through convincing negotiations with the leadership of the USSR Nakamfin. In 1920s, Saken was actively involved in the elimination of hunger. He traveled many times to the areas of the country where people were starving. The organization of the financial system, banking and insurance system in Kazakhstan, the creation of state structures and the construction of the Petropavlovsk-Kokshitau railway are associated with the name Saken. At meetings of the Council's People's Commissars, he raised the question of the organization of civil aviation in the Republic. He wanted to give wings to Kazakhstan, comparing its mythical bird Samruk, and so he raises money for the first airplane in Kazakhstan.
Saken devoted much attention to the study of the folklore and musical heritage of the Kazakh people. In the conditions of the financial crisis in the Republic, Saken Seifullin found funds for Alexander Zatarevich to collect, prepare, and publish 1,000 songs of the Kazakh people. Right in the office of the chairman of the Council of People's Commissars, Zatarevich wrote lyrics of the horse march of Hana Belai, performed by Saken Seifullin. Saken's assistant and friend, L.K. Utekin, performed the march of Kenisari Khan. His love for folk art drove him to search, collect, and publish a multi-volume.
Saken's songs are a special direction in the various works of the poet, which have remained forever in the Kazakh culture. A distinctive feature of In the Mountains, in Our Land, Kokshitau, lame saiga, and other songs is the natural consonance of words and music, the preservation of the traditions inherent at the edge of the saraka. Saken's songs took a special place in the heart of the people, so much so that when it was dangerous to pronounce even the poet's name, they were sung everywhere and in spite of everything. A clear proof of the sincere love of people for the personality of Saken is the deep interest of the people in the emergence of new, previously unknown songs of the poet.
The noble dream of a Kazakh man about freedom was not only a fading hope, it was constantly burning in the souls of many Kazakhs. Each of the sons of Kazakh people who dreamed of the independence of their country wanted to find a way to freedom for the people claimed in a voice. And here are many answers to the question, how to get free, were found by them in the educational and democratic ideas of Abay. Among these men was the outstanding Kazakh poet Saken Seifullin, who, like others, sought to find a suitable path to freedom for his beloved people.
Біліп кетіп есін сауын көл көкшетаудың саясында әрқайсы алтын кесе аясында ауасы дертке дауа шұбар есі көкіде қанша жұтсаң тоясың ба хаула лилла 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 лай хаула лилла лилла лай лилла лая ырғалған көкке бойлап қарағай қасыңда көкжиекті аппақ қайың жібектей желмен шарпып төңіректі балқытып мас қылады исің майын көкбеңбек құз басына мұнар кетпес басына атсаң тағы оғың жетпес бір жұтсаң көкшетаудың жұпарынан өлгенше көкірегіңнен құмар кетпес хаула лилла 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 лай хаула